from I.
I pressed it. Alright, hello, welcome to the reviewing floor, and this week we are going to take a look at The Darkness 2, without putting it on your face. There we are.
Oh yeah, see, it wasn't that difficult, was it? Just
No.
hold that.
Well, it was reasonably tricky. Right, so, thoughts coming into the game then. What did you think of the first game?
I really liked the first game. It was enjoyable, but the problem was, with the first game, it almost forgot it was a game at points. There were bits that were deliberately too kind of oblique and obtuse that a couple of gamey kind of interferences would have made a lot easier. Like, there was no mini-map. Like, it sounds like a stupid thing, but like, when nowhere has a map, and everywhere looks quite similar, and it's always dark, and just a little thing, or a little objective arrow, would have made the game a whole lot easier. And the bits where, you know, not to ruin anything, there's a bit where you're in World War One, and it's really dark, apart from the bits where it's really bright. And again, the lack of any kind of sense of direction means I spent about 2 hours wandering around, and I think must have been just sort of a small circle in the middle of no man's land, which was quite embarrassing, really. Especially when the enemies respawned again. It was like, come on.
Yeah, to eat the hearts.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
I loved the first game. I think it's a very good example of how there are games that can have, you know, good stories told in a very good way and still have reasonably enjoyable gameplay. I will agree it is quite clunky, and it's a mini map would help, and it's But overall, I enjoyed the first game.
That's why they invented sequels.
Second game then.
Yes.
What were you expecting coming into it?
I don't know. It looked more. It just sounded a little more over the top. I remember seeing the original screens of it, and it was just like people flying over. I mean, the original game was fairly brutal, but it was brutal, but it wasn't over the top. It was. Again,
it was quite adult. The first game.
It was kind of. There were bits where you shot people and their heads exploded, but there wasn't quite the same level of kind of glorified carnage you got in the second one. And the art style was a lot different too, which I kind of liked, because although they could have kept it the same, again, the first one was as realistic as it could kind of seem, with, you know, tentacles and demons and shit running around. But it was quite a realistic, kind of gritty style.
Oh, it was sort of the first round of games on the next generation console.
Yeah,
so Jackie's face was sort of just completely flat, and then there'd be like a nose.
Yeah.
And then it'd go back to being flat.
It wasn't perfect, but the graphics a lot better. The game looked a lot more frantic. Is that a word? Frenetic. Yeah, that's what I mean. Frantic. That is definitely the word I mean. Frantic, and it looked like a decent continuation of the story.
Oh, apologies for the lack of hat, by the way. I've left it in Coventry.
It's fine.
It'll be back next time. Right, so plot-wise then, basically, spoiler warning, at the end of the first game, Jackie Estacado, who, after getting this supernatural entity called the Darkness on his 21st birthday...
Voiced by Mike Patton from Faith No More.
Indeed, yeah, Faith No More.
That's who he is.
He tracks down his evil bastard uncle.
Yeah, named Paulie.
Yes,
so you can tell.
And kills him, and the darkness takes over him, and it looks like the end, although Jackie's got to fight the darkness. And I didn't want there to be a sequel initially, because I thought that the end of the first game wrapped it up very nicely. It didn't need to go anywhere else. Jackie had... Right, there are going to be... Basically, this review is going to be full of spoilers for the first game.
Yeah.
but in the
first... It came out 4 years. 6 years ago, so...
Yeah. In the first game, Jackie's girlfriend Jenny gets killed by Paulie.
Yeah.
And you spend the game trying to chase after him and kill him, and on the way taking out the head of the New York police who's in his pocket. And at the end, basically, all of Paulie's goons are dead. Jackie's got... I mean, he agrees to be... I suppose there is partly a setup for the sequel in that his family are like, do you want to be the next Don?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I could be the next Don.
Well, there was scope, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, but
like, it was a self-contained story.
I thought it was kind of like, do you want to be the Don? And he's sort of saying yes because they're his family and he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to worry them, but really he knows he's going to go up to Paulie's lighthouse and he's probably not going to come back.
Yeah.
It's that kind of story. It's like he kills Paulie, he gets sucked into the darkness, he gets, I think it's like 5 minutes to say goodbye to Jenny, and that's it. And I was thinking, that's good. That should just end it. But so then when this new story was announced, I was initially very sceptical because, I mean, I didn't mind. I would be interested to see where they were going with it, but to me, it didn't need to be made. But I think when you actually play The Darkness 2, I won't go into exact details because you've only
finished it.
Yeah, he hasn't finished it. But while it's a very good plot and it's got a great cliffhanger ending, there are a couple of quite major plot holes in it. And I was a big fan of the first one. And there are a couple of things carrying over from the first one where they won't explain it, and it doesn't really. It seems a bit of a waste because you could quite easily explain. And there are areas where you think if they'd explained that, it wouldn't have made the story any worse. It would have just served to heighten it, made it a bit richer. But they've missed parts out. But anyway. 2 years after the end of the first game, Jackie's now the Don of the. I assume it's the Franchetti crime family.
I assume, unless they got a whole new family.
Yeah, they never name it.
Yeah,
but it's got.
He's the Don, the Godfather.
He's the Don, yeah, with a picture of James Caan at his
Yeah,
desk.
picture of James Caan. There's a disturbing photo. You can go into Jackie's office and some of the in between mission bits. And there's a photo on his desk, and it appears to be James Caan and a 12-year-old girl. And we think it's Jackie and James Caan. We're not sure why he's a photo with James Caan. But
it was the day he met James Caan. He was on the set of Way of the Gun.
Yeah, that's what was happening.
Anyway, and he goes to a restaurant. And this is basically what's said in the demo. He goes into a restaurant and he gets hit by a car.
Yeah, comes through the wall.
And he has to unleash the darkness again to save himself, despite the fact he fucking survives an explosion. He's in a kitchen full of gas, and they throw in like a Molotov.
Yeah.
And he's still got skin in his hands, because you can't see his face because it's first person, but he's still got skin in his hands. And his mate, Vinny, you find him outside slumped against a dumpster. He's like, "I'm okay, boss. I just gotta get my breath back."
Yeah.
It's like, you're in an explosion.
Clearly these people in the mob are hard.
They're hardy. They're like the Japanese.
They are like the Japanese.
They're a hardy folk.
They are.
Anyway, and there's this sort of Illuminati-esque organisation called the Brotherhood, who have known about the darkness since forever, pretty much.
That's their thing.
They want it, and they're coming to steal it off Jackie. And so about halfway through the game, it stops being a mob shooter and starts to become, you fight these dudes who have got kind of a bit of darkness.
Yeah.
Like they've got sort of armour made of the darkness on one arm, and they have these guys that have cannons that fire light and things. And basically, you fight. It stops being a mob shooter and starts being about fighting the sort of supernatural thing, which I think kind of makes the mob. I know you haven't made it this far, but it kind of makes the mob thing seem redundant because it's like you get halfway into the game and the mob guys are all like, "Oh, those guys are fucking freaks, man! Go and get a boss!"
Yeah,
and it's like, so you're just gonna hang around here then? Yeah, we're just gonna hang around here doing nothing while you go and take on the armies of these people that want you dead. And it's like, should I not maybe take a couple of them with me?
Truthfully though, none of them. I mean, the bits that I've played first, I don't know how far that is into the game.
That's not very far.
No, but none of them did anything. Like apart from the first mission where they attack the restaurant you're in, and there's also people firing guns. After that, it was just him. And when you go to get the guy who betrayed you to them. And it's just like, yeah, we're going to stand here on the corner. You go get him, boss.
Yeah, they all wait outside with guns and don't do anything.
Yeah.
For the purposes of he's played up to when you're crucified
the end of the
and
demo.
you break out and kill that dude and Victor escapes. Basically the end of the demo, but all the bits that go up to that as well. So he's played the brothel and the bit where you go after... What's his name?
Swifty. I nearly said Nimbles, but I thought Nimbles is not the right name.
He's a fast one, that's 50.
Yeah.
Anyway, so gameplay-wise, it's been vastly improved.
Yeah.
So the first one was running on the sort of Chronicles of Riddick template.
Yeah.
It's made by the same people. So it's quite stiff, and for those of you that played the first game, you know what I mean, but for those of you who haven't, basically, you have two guns, you have a crosshair, and that's it. You can shoot, or you can not shoot.
Yeah.
Or you can execute people if you get up close to them. That was about the sum total of the gameplay. You couldn't run.
No, you couldn't.
Walked,
That was
or
extremely
sort of
frustrating.
trotted on like that.
Yeah.
Moved really slowly, and it was. But again, it was a story-driven game, and I didn't think the gameplay hurt it enough.
No, the gameplay wasn't awful. It was just a bit.
It was quite cumbersome.
It was the kind of gameplay that when you see it in a game, you go, well, if they make a sequel, they'll fix that.
And they did.
They did fix that.
Oh, did they fix the gameplay?
They definitely fixed it.
It's faster. You can now sprint. It's the aiming is a lot better. The shooting feels better. The guns have a lot of weight to them.
They have quad wielding.
Yes, this new thing Top Cow have invented called quad wielding, where one button takes control of the left tentacle, which grabs things. One button takes control of the right tentacle, which slashes.
It's grabby and slashy.
And then you've got two buttons for the guns, which works incredibly well.
It does actually.
But you can forget about they're all there.
Yeah.
You can forget. I mean, you can grab something, throw it while slashing, and also firing two guns at once, and you forget you can do all that.
Yeah.
And you end up just pulling out two guns and shooting things, and you go, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I can slash stuff now. Admittedly, though, to constantly use all 4 buttons takes an amount of manual dexterity I don't possess.
Indeed.
I can just about manage to shoot both guns, or grab stuff and slash stuff, or shoot stuff and slash stuff. I can't grab stuff, slash stuff, and shoot 2 guns at the same time.
But
I'm not that good.
But basically, it's a lot more. It's a lot more fun. The rather than being, I think I'd say would I be right in saying that the shooting in the first one was sort of bridging the story?
Yeah, it was kind
like
of
the game. It
together.
was bridging the dialogue.
There were a couple of cool things you could do, like when the execution moves, you got up someone, you stamped on their toe and then shot them in the face. That was quite fun.
Yeah.
Or you shoved the gun in the mouth, shot them in the face.
Whereas in this one, it's all about gameplay and story. I mean, the story's still very good though. The story's still decent. It's well told.
I'm intrigued.
And the gameplay is, it actually feels involving, and you feel powerful. You feel like you've got this amazing entity inside you that you can do all these things. Whereas in the first one, and I've heard it say that sort of in the first one it was because Jackie was just getting to grips with the darkness.
Yeah.
He didn't quite know what to do with it, but the powers in the first one were very limited.
Yeah.
But you do
4 things.
Seeing as
you do stuff.
I think maybe you might not. You probably won't get this impression if you haven't played the first one. But the impression I get from playing the second one is the first one was about, in terms of story and gameplay, it was about this guy had this thing happen to him.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to control it, and it was very much in control of him, and he was about fighting. Whereas in this one, it's very much he's in control, and he knows how to use his powers, and it'll eventually tell him to do things, and he'll just be like, "No, fuck you."
Yeah, he does mouth off a lot more against it. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I'm not. No, screw you. I'm getting no. Whereas in the first one, he was kind of just, oh my god, things are happening.
Whereas the first one was like, the fuck.
Yeah.
Whereas in this one, he's like, it's like, Jackie, kill that guy, and you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah. He's clearly grown up a bit. In despite of it's been 2 years since the storyline's been 2 years.
And he's got a different voice actor.
He has got a different voice actor.
He's voiced by Brian Bloom.
Yeah.
Who did Kane in.
Yeah, it's quality.
Kane and Lynch.
Quality game. That was a pretty crap game.
The first one was crap. I have a soft spot for the second one.
The soft one was fun, but not in a good way.
It was alright. It was better than some things.
Yeah, it's better than some things. We're tangenting again.
Yes. Anyway, so yes, the gameplay is vastly improved.
Yeah.
The story is vastly improved.
The thing is actually about the gameplay is weirdly what they've succeeded in doing. Everyone keeps saying they're going to do, which is taking the first person thing, and actually making it original. Like every game that comes out goes, oh, they've completely flipped the genre as a convention. It's no, the controls are all the same.
That's
all
a good
shooting
point,
identical enemies in places. Whereas that's actually a new idea. I mean, granted, it's 2 different guns, or you can have one larger gun, or you can have one gun at a time. Plus, you got the tentacles. It gives us some options.
But the quad wielding thing is a genuinely unique thing. Like I remember when they brought out footage of E3 for Modern Warfare 3, and it had like footage of a level, and they were like, "Oh my god, this game is completely revolutionary. It's completely the same as the other 2, but damn it, it's bringing new things to the table.
Shit's amazeballs.
This is something new."
It is.
The quad. I mean, you've seen iron sight aiming and dual wielding weapons before, but this is
with tentacles.
It is genuinely
You've never
something
dual wielded
new.
Tentacles.
No, you haven't, because in the first one you can only use one at once.
Exactly, yeah.
But it is genuinely fun to use. You do feel like a badass when you use it, and it's a very fun game overall.
Yeah.
It's also violent as hell.
Yeah, it is. They've switched from the kind of gritty art style to kind of cell shaded. I don't want to say cartoony one.
Everything gets torn
into
chunks.
It's more artistic, but yeah, everything gets murdered in the face repeatedly in the best possible way. I remember I was sitting there playing it with a big stupid smile on my face, just throwing people around and impaling people and shooting them in the face.
Tearing people in half, tearing their skulls and spines out through their arse.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You could just. I remember the first time I saw that, I was like. In fact, I tweeted about that.
Yeah, it was just.
I put a tweet of just saying best death ever. Keep tearing some guy's spine out through his heart. Yeah. So it's the sort of thing where if you're a sadistic sociopathic fuck like myself, you've been waiting for a games league.
That was
that
good.
Sort of thing.
I mean, truthfully, actually looking around, like, admittedly, there's nothing, but in terms of games like to come out this year, it's definitely the best one to come out this year thus far. And in terms of just being really fun, I don't know if there's going to be a lot else that's good. There might be better games, but that's definitely going to be on the top 3 funnest games this year.
It's definitely very good fun to play.
Yeah, it is. It's a laugh, if nothing else.
It's very rewarding.
As long as you're not, as long as you don't mind a lot of excessive brutality, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot more accessible now as well because they've got an upgrade system now as well, which lets you upgrade your weapon. But they're all focused around the darkness powers. Like there are 4 executions you can do: ammo, health, darkness power, which fuels you to your two sort of darkness weaponsy things you can use, and a big shield.
Mm.
So that's more helpful. You can upgrade your weapons; they have more bullets in the dark. You can wear armor, which makes you look like Alcatraz.
Yeah, it does. It does make you look like you're wearing a cheap nanosuit.
Makes you look like hellish Alcatraz.
Yeah.
And yeah, just overall, they've clearly thought about what they were doing.
They put a lot of effort into it
and made it a lot more fun to play and a lot more rewarding. And they've got a story that fits it.
Mm.
I can't talk too much about the story without spoilers. But what I will say is this is going to be a spoiler-free episode.
Well, a bit late for that. Didn't we tell them the entire story of Darkness 1?
Yeah.
It's a relatively spoiler-free episode.
It's spoiler-free for the game we're actually reviewing.
Yeah, that's true.
But the story is very good. It's still, despite this the more over-the-top action in it.
Yeah.
And I would say the cell shading might put some people off. But I think
it might, but it shouldn't.
For those that it might put them off, despite the cell shading, despite the over-the-top action, the story is still very adult. Mm. It's very good, despite this. It's not got a more supernatural element with the Brotherhood being involved.
Well, you kind of had to. It couldn't just be him killing random goons.
It still feels gripping, and you still really want to know what's happening. And it doesn't quite delve as much into Jackie's condition as well. Also, the game can't quite seem to make up his mind about whether or not the fact he's an orphan.
Yeah, no. So he keeps talking. He's supposed to be an orphan because he was in the orphanage.
Yes,
that's how I met Jenny. Yeah. And his Uncle Paulie, he was adopted by the crime family, and his uncle wasn't really his uncle. But then he keeps going on about his dad, and then there's that James Caan photo I mentioned. We think is supposed to be his dad.
They mentioned his dad in the first game.
Yeah, they did mention it.
They mentioned this. I swear his name was Johnny.
Yeah.
No. Wait, that was that. That might have been Aunt Sarah's husband. But I don't think he knew his name. He was basically Jackie Estacado's dad.
Yeah.
Was this badass mob guy.
Yeah.
And Jackie should be like him.
Yeah.
But then in the second one, and I won't tell you exactly what it is, but because that will spoil it. But there are parts in the second where he talks about his dad, and he talks about knowing his dad and actually being, old enough to sentiently know his dad and be aware of going and talking to him. You think, but when was he in the orphanage?
Yeah,
because you see him in the orphanage. He's little in the first game, and when he has the ghostly flashbacks of the orphanage, he's little, but he knows his dad.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. They need to fix that one.
I think they only brought his dad into it because they have a link. Again, without going too much into, they have a link between his dad knew the Brotherhood, basically.
Yeah.
His dad knew the Brotherhood, and I think they only brought his dad in so they could link the two of them together.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any real more depth to that, and I think that's a bit of a disappointment because it starts to go against what's already happened in the first one.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know my dad. Oh, I did. Well, we brought him back because he was involved with the Brotherhood somehow. So yeah, Jackie knew his dad.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Don't question
because
it. Just roll with it
because it helps the plot.
Yeah.
But
it's a relatively minor gripe. It's a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
And if you didn't play the first one, you'll have no idea, so it won't matter anyway.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You don't have to have played the first one to enjoy this one.
No.
Like vaguely knowing that he's a guy who's possessed by an evil thing, voiced by the guy from Faith No More. That's basically all you have to know. Oh, and his girlfriend is dead. That's literally all you have to know, and it becomes fun from there.
Yeah, I think it works on two levels because one, if you haven't played the first one, you can still enjoy it. It's quite a different game. But I think, like us, if you have played the first game, and you remember what happened in the first game, it does help the second one because you know where he's coming from and you know who he is, and the fact that he now has more control over the darkness will actually mean something to you. Because in the first game, it was literally the idea was he had kind of power over it, but he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
But he would,
occasionally disobey it.
But he was strong-willed.
Yeah.
So he could take control of it. Whereas in this one, because he's managed to find a way to subdue it, he has more power.
Yeah, he makes him do what he wants.
But so for the purpose of a shorter video, so we don't keep the audience waiting, shall we make some nice summary conclusive points?
Yes. Darkness 2. You don't have to play the first one to enjoy it. It helps, but it's still good. Don't be put off by cell shading.
No,
because
definitely not.
The art style, if anything, I think adds to it, because I think they couldn't have gotten away with some of the over-the-top gratuitous silliness without the cell shading.
It looks lovely as well.
It does. Genuinely, the graphics are great. Quad wielding, it's a new thing. I was going to say we should see it more, but actually in most games it wouldn't make any sense.
No.
But it works well. Let's see.
It's a genuinely new addition as well.
Yeah,
when they say it's unique, it is unique. You haven't seen this in the game before.
No. Well, you couldn't have really. It would be odd, just incongruously some tentacles. But
Apart from Asura's Wrath.
Yeah, but no one understands that game.
Asura! I have carnal knowledge of the finest maidens in heaven.
We're doing so well. You just 19 minutes in. Thank you.
I had to do it.
The gameplay's better, the story's better, the graphics look good. It's a thoroughly enjoyable game.
It's very fun to play. It's very rewarding. You feel dangerous. You feel like a badass. And yeah, it's fun to play. It looks good. It's got a good story. There are all different voice actors now, though, which kind of put me off to begin with. But you can survive.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world.
But yeah, sorry we haven't talked about the multiplayer.
No.
So I say basically, really quickly, there are these submissions you can do with these 4 incredibly cliched stereotyped people.
There's a
Japanese dude with a sword.
Yep.
A
Celtic guy with an axe. The Scottish guy who's ginger and drinks and hates the English.
That's one of his character traits. He hates the English.
Named Johnny.
No, Jimmy. He's called Jimmy.
Jimmy.
And he's got his wee Jimmies.
Yeah. And there's
Shoshana,
the
Israeli Mossad agent who doesn't care what she's doing as long as she's following orders.
Yep.
And then JP Dummin, his name is.
And a black guy from New Orleans who does voodoo because everyone who's from New Orleans does voodoo.
But they're separate.
Stereotypes.
They're separate. The main story. It's these 4 people who each have one darkness power and go into assassinate people. They're very fun, actually.
Yeah.
They're sort of nice side missions, and they've got checkpoints.
Oh well,
they're very fun. We'll probably do a let's play of them
when we can afford one of those boxes that lets you record stuff.
When we can afford the software, that'll be one of the let's plays we do. But yeah, so finishing up then, Darkness 2, it's fun, it looks good, you feel powerful, it's got a good story to it, and I think it was definitely worth the wait. Because until I downloaded the demo, I was just going to write it off entirely. But when I actually played it, it's definitely worth a look.
Yeah.
As long as you like that sort of thing.
Well,
if you don't like people's skulls being torn out through their arse.
Well.
And Mike Patton going, Jackie!
But to be honest, if you don't like that, you're wrong.
Yeah, basically.
Your opinion is invalid.
You're a sick, sick person.
Exactly. If you don't like violence, you're wrong in the head. That's what we should read. That's the conclusion we can draw.
That's Peter's disclaimer at the bottom.
Yeah.
These are not our actual views.
Yeah. we should probably do something about that.
But yeah, take a look at The Darkness 2. Definitely recommended.